Hello and welcome to the Knit Girls. This is episode 444. I'm Laura, also known as Lala.
I am Leslie, also known as You Don't Call Me Les. Today is Friday, June 21st.
Yep.
It's National what day?
Yoga Day, I believe.
Yoga Day. Didn't know that.
It popped up as like on my Apple Watch of, hey, you can earn this thing if you do this.
Did you?
So yoga is something I'm interested in. But if anyone knows any beginner yoga resources, that would be amazing. Because Blueprint has like yoga classes, but they're more like advanced, like you should already know how to do things. So I bought a yoga mat like a month ago. So I was like, this is something I could do in my house that sounds kind of cool. And like would bring anxiety down or whatever else. Perhaps. I don't know. So it's on the list of someday. Our friend Eloise used to do yoga all the time. But she has not been recently. I had to think where I am. I'm doing, I'm going to go first. I am working on a new to you guys sweater. It is the Stevie, and I cast it on size 6 TheKnitGirls. I had to go down 2 needle sizes. And I cast it on yesterday, so it's not super advanced, but it is a top-down raglan. This is the front. I'm using Barocco Remix, which is a yarn that looks like this. It's a hunter green. It's got kind of flex in it. If I have it up here, it sheds all over me. But I'm hoping after it washes, it will not shed all over me. It is a nylon, which is not my favorite, but whatever. Nylon, cotton, acrylic, silk, linen blend. It's 100% recycled fibers. So I got this from a yarn shop in Buffalo, New York, the Village, I think it's Buffalo or Rochester, the Village Yarn and Fiber Shop. It's a Dizzy Sheep. They had a special on it, so I picked it up then. I picked up 7 skeins. This sweater is probably only going to use 5. I might add longer sleeves, so maybe 6. But I'm just trucking away on it. I'm trying to get 50 yards knit a day, which means in 4 days I would be through a ball of yarn. And that would get this done in time for the SSK taste try it on room. So we'll see if that happens or not. It's an interesting blend. It's got that acrylic in it, so it's also kind of collecting moisture. Stevie is a pattern by Elizabeth Smith. I am knitting the second to largest size, which is a 48, but that's a 48 with 2 inches of ease built in. So really, the largest size is like a 48, and the size that I'm knitting's a 46 plus the ease, which not great sizing. What else did I have to say about this? Interesting construction. You cast on the back, the sleeves, like you would a typical raglan, and then like 1 or 2 stitches for the front, and then you knit for a bit, and then you cast on the rest of the front, and then it goes in the round at that point. And then with the raglan, you increase on the backs and the fronts once you get to a certain point, which is where I'm at now, and not the sleeves. And then then you have like just a knit round, and then the next round you increase on all of those 4 areas. So you increase 8 stitches. So I'm on that part. I'm hoping to get to the sleeve divide today. That would make me super happy. But that is where I am. I had to go down 2 needles to get gauge on this. And this is the yarn that the pattern calls for, which is why I chose this sweater. I had this yarn in the stash because I bought it on sale. And I was like, I need to knit something out of that yarn to get it out of my stash because it's been in my stash for a bit. And also I wanted to try it because I think House of Yarn sells it.
And they sell the lighter version. Remix Light.
Yes, Remix Light. Which I also have a couple skeins of in the stash. A sweater's quantity worth in like the cracked pepper gray colorway.
I have one in a light blue.
Okay. So I was looking for patterns that use this yarn, and this pattern popped up.
So what size needles are you using?
6.
So I knit with that yarn the bulky ease pattern. I think it was by Alicia Plummer.
Yeah, the one that kind of looks like a sweatshirt.
I'm pretty sure I used an 11.
Yeah, it's a bulky cotton. Not cotton, but recycled fiber blend.
And you're using a 6 for a bulky. I just want to put that out there into the world.
Because I'm a loose knitter.
That's the word on the street.
That's the word on the street. I'm also still working on my Rose City rollers. These are out of Knit Picks Felici in the Dark Side colorway on size 0 needles. They just put up new colors, so if you're interested in that, they did just put up, and I resisted as of right now, their new colors. I'm hoping they put back up the worsted, because I'd like to do a sock arms worsted sweater for me, and that's what I used for Alice's sock arms sweater. So first one's done. Second one is still on the needles. It's at the same place it was last week. Maybe a couple rows further. Probably a couple rows further. I think I just started the black and now I'm into the purple. So I did knit on it when we went out to lunch the other day. And I'll take this with me to the funeral that I have to go to tomorrow. And while I'm waiting around, I'll knit a little bit on that prior to the funeral starting. All my bags today are Fat Squirrel bags. So this is her sock bag. This is her Aran weight sweater bag, I think. And then the next one is a sweater bag. It might be an Aran weight.
We're not officially sponsored by the Fat Squirrel.
But we should be. And this is the library card bag.
No, the Fat Squirrel is Amy Beth. She hosts a podcast and creates great bags.
Yep.
And she's an awesome person.
In fact, my mom is in Alaska, and she's not going to have internet, and she's not going to SSK this year. It's the first year that she'll ever miss. So when we do the 10-year ribbon, she won't get one. I know.
Mama Luna, man. I like that you think we're going to make it to 10 years.
Well, this is, 8?
This is 8, yeah.
Yes, that's 2 more. I don't know, we'll see. It's always up for negotiation. This is the V-neck boxy. The V-neck is done. I did make it a couple rows shorter than what it called for because I want to wear it to work. And I don't want it showing... She thinks
her boobs would hang out.
Showing all the girls. And it's been split. The only modifications I made on this is I did make the sleeve circumference a little bit longer.
It's
I made mine 12.
Not split, right?
Yeah, everything's joined and then the sleeves are split off.
Oh, the sleeves are split. Okay.
Yeah.
That was my confusion.
So the sleeves split there. So I'm like 2.5 inches past the sleeve split. Yeah, I'm still enjoying it. I'm knitting this on size 3 needles. I got a Licka fixed for this. I'm not super happy with the join on that. We'll see. It's not as smooth as the interchangeable join for sure.
Which is odd. Usually it's the other way.
Yeah.
Not for Licka specifically, but just in general.
For everyone. Yeah, so that is rockin' and rollin'. I need to get 50 yards on that knit a day also to get that done for SSK. We'll see if it happens. I just joined the 3rd skein. So, yeah. All the things are happening. 50 yards on this is like 10 rows.
Oh crap, I totally forgot my finished object. Oh well. You'll see it next week.
And I forgot my spinning, so we're all kinds of forgetful today. Those are the 3 things that I have on my needles. Yep, just those 3. Up from last, I'm being less monogamous than last time. But really trying to work on sweaters and get them. This seems to be like the year of the sweater for me.
It's definitely garment year for me.
Which is fine. And I definitely have the stash to support that habit, so yeah. But also we're going to some fall events this year.
I'm going to a fall event.
Yeah, knitting at the estate.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Vicksburg is like the week before. That's a 1-day thing for us because we can drive down and back in 1 day. So we might be there. We haven't decided yet. Just depends on what's going on. This seems to be a year where things just kind of happen on the weekends.
Yeah, and plus, I don't know, maybe it's just getting older, or I am more selective about what I'm willing to leave my house for.
Okay.
So.
And that's fair enough. I can always usually con Eloise into going with me. It's like a 4-hour drive each way for us to Vicksburg, something like that.
Yeah.
So it's doable in a day. Especially if I take Pearl for a long walk that morning. She's like fake peeing on our walks now. She's like, I'm totally peeing. I'm like, you have no pee left. You are a fake peer.
She has to try because there's so many smells that she needs to leave her smells with those smells.
So, and then maybe Saf. We'll see. It just depends what's going on in my parents' life because it's a time that I go and visit my parents because they live in Knoxville, Maryville. And I go and stay with them, and Pearl goes with me, and she and Wheezy usually go for a walk, and then Mom and I drive over to Saf for the day. So, we'll see how it goes. But I really enjoy Saf. It's a good fall event. And then Knitting at the Estate is the event that we're both going to.
Laura's teaching at. I am blissfully just going as an attendee.
Yes.
Okay. I'll go now.
Will you?
It's going to be amazing. I finished my ISA, A-I-S-A.
Yes, I saw it on you the other day.
I blocked it. Well, it's linen. It's 100% linen. Where is it, you say? I have no idea. Downstairs somewhere. I completely forgot it. I'll get a picture in it and then put it into next week's show because I need to get a picture in several things that I finished.
Yeah.
But
we should try to do that Sunday when you come over.
Yeah. So the ISA is out of Shibui Reed, which is 100% linen in a chainette sort of I-cord construction. Excuse me, it was in the rust color, and I finished it and soaked it in cool, verging on warm water, and then hung it to dry after I had, squeezed all the water out of it. And I did that because I wanted it to gain a little bit of length, so the weight of the, still damp fibers pulled on it.
Yeah, because that was knit from the bottom up,
It
correct?
was, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I'm happy with it. I think it turned out nicely. I kind of wish I'd knit like an inch more on it, but not enough to actually add an inch to it. So, whatever.
We'll see how it does as it hangs, because it is linen.
Yeah. And it will soften and sort of...
You could also crochet a little bit on the bottom and add.
I'm done working with that yarn. Okay. I'm just done with it. So, yeah, I finished that and finished weaving in ends at knit night and then hung it up to block yesterday. I didn't craft really at all yesterday, so and then today I was working and then took a nap, and then when we got ready to record I had nothing to show that I was working on because I was pretty monogamous with what I was doing, so yeah. I had to sort of scramble for something to work on that didn't involve swatching first.
Well, you swatched this week too.
I did, so, and I'll show you guys because I still want to make this pattern. I just have to swatch with a different yarn. So this is Boss. It's by Jimenez Joseph. Jimmy Knits is her Ravelry name. She's the one who has designed patterns for the Addy Express.
Oh.
So this is what the pattern looks like. It's just sort of a vest you'd wear over a cami.
The Addy Express is a knitting machine.
Right.
A type of knitting machine.
Mm-hmm. And it knits just like stockinette stitches that you can then manipulate into different patterns.
Yeah.
So I saw this on several plus size bodies on Ravelry, and it made me happy. It's got a weird trellis lace here between the construction of this is very weird, and it may be that way intentionally, but it's a lace vest, but it's knit flat, and you cast on provisionally at the bottom, and then you do this like 6 rows of this really simple trellis lace, and then you transition into
I think it just needs to be either longer.
That's what I was. Yeah, that's what I planned on doing. Well, I planned on omitting that trellis lace completely because I don't understand the point of it.
Well, maybe I needed that bit of length.
And then add the length in the pattern.
Yeah, it could just be that you can't add length in the pattern, and that's why they added the trellis lace.
I don't know. Yeah, no, I definitely would just add length in the pattern. But yeah, you knit on provisionally above the ribbing, then you knit this trellis lace, and then you knit, the top, and you come back up and you do the back the same way, and you come back up and you pick up your stitches from the provisional cast on and knit the ribbing down. And I don't know, there's probably a reason for it. I'm not a designer. I make no judgments about why she designed it that way. There's probably a reason. I don't know.
It probably is dad length, I would think.
But I'm not doing that. So I will just...
You also have a shorter torso.
Yeah, but I'll probably still add length. Because I have boobs and they pull everything up.
Yeah, you could add length and ribbing too.
I don't know that I'll do that. But anyway, this calls for a DK weight yarn.
It looks like it's a wool.
It is...
Oh, it's blocked.
A Merino Bamboo 3 Irish Girls, McClellan DK, or they also say Fiber Space Scrumptious DK or Knit Picks Gloss DK. But you want something with a little bit of drape to it, like a Tencel or a silk. But it also has a wool base to it. But I happen to have handy some Nettle Grove that I bought, which is technically classified as a sport, but because I'm a tight knitter, so I can sometimes sub in.
You're a loose knitter.
No.
No, you're tight?
I'm
That's
a tight
right,
knitter.
you're tight.
You're a loose knitter. Because I'm such a tight knitter, I can sometimes sub in like a worsted for an Aran. So I was going to try to do the same thing with a sport for a DK, which might have worked. This is I wasn't going to use this color. I just had an extra skein of this color, so I was just swatched in this color. But it's too thin. It's not round enough. Like, it's too flat of a yarn, so it doesn't have that roundness to it. And you can't really see the pattern. It just looks like a weird spider web. So...
Is it a 2-ply?
I don't know. It's linen, cotton, silk, and nettle. So
it looks like it's a little slubby.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
It's sort of thick and thin in places.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
it is
that
a
would
2-ply.
keep you from seeing the pattern.
So I wanted to do it in something rounder, and then I remembered that I had this cotton that I got.
Oh yeah.
From from Blueprint. Or
Cloudborne, yeah.
It was Craftsy then. But yeah, it's just a Pima cotton, and it is a DK weight. But it is much rounder. I think it'll do much better. But I swatched during work today. I mean, I worked, and on my lunch break I swatched. But there wasn't any already wound for me to use, so I didn't have time before we started. Well, I mean, Laura was very gracious about waiting, but I also didn't want to try to be reading a lace chart while we were recording, because I feel like that's just a recipe for disaster.
Probably.
At least in my case it is. So, what I decided to do instead was scramble madly through my craft room until I found something that I had been working on before. I don't tend to have a ton of stuff on the needles at once, but usually I at least have a couple, but right now I just don't. So I picked out this mitered crosses blanket that I haven't worked on since I lived in New Jersey. Which has
we
been...
know that because we looked at the show notes to see last time it was worked on.
Which has been almost 3 years. So this is the last one that I did, and the mitered square is an Ann Shane Mason-Dixon pattern.
Yeah.
Ann Shane and K something. I always want to say Gardner, but I don't feel like that's right.
I think it's similar at least.
Yeah, it's Ann and K for Mason-Dixon. And I'm using only hand spun that has been given to me by other people for this. I believe that
the show notes said Casey. I don't know.
Yeah, I believe that what I had been using here, this pinker one, was from Casey, and I ran out, and then I started using this sort of more red-orange one, and I'm pretty sure that this one was from Melia Bella. We did a hand-spun swap at Rhinebeck one year, and I believe that's what this was, but the tag isn't in here anymore. It's probably with wherever the rest of the squares are. So, I just cast on a new one of those because it's very, very easy.
Yeah, it's a great blanket.
Yeah. So you just knit each miter one at a time and then join, cast on, and decrease and keep going. So that's what I'm knitting on right now. I'm using a size 7. I hope that's what I was using before. I don't know. The pattern says 6. I usually go up a size, at least 1. And for a blanket, I'm sure it didn't really matter. So I just went up to a 7. I do have a finished object. Again, not here. But
it's the sweater. We've already talked about that. I have no finished objects. And I left my spinning at home. Because I was kind of in a rush to get over here.
To show you nothing. Because I have nothing. And it's all about me.
I had 2 things of handspun to show y'all. I'll show them to you next week. With hopefully some more handspun. But Leslie has handspun.
I do. Still haven't decided if I like it or not. So,
I think it's fun.
It's something. I did something. So whatever. So what I did was I took some Tattooed Lady, which is a colorway by Gail's Art.
Yeah, and she's about to have a sale on her fiber for Tour de Fleece coming up soon.
So Tattooed Lady was the colorway. It's a merino wool, and I spun the singles just sort of thick and thin. I was trying to spin them thick, but I was mostly getting thick and thin. And then I spiral plied them with a bright, obnoxious, sparkly pink.
You can kind of see the sparkle.
Yeah, here we go.
It reads very like My Little Pony.
Yeah, in person it does. It's very My Little Pony colors.
We make some great baby hats.
Yeah, but I worry because the thread itself is a man-made nylon or something like that, and so it's not going to have any stretch to it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how well that would work. I'll probably end up weaving something with it. Cool. Or giving it away. I don't know. But yeah, it was something different to do, and I was trying to spiral ply it, but it didn't really want to cooperate with me. So, and that was probably a combination of this like plasticky nylon thread.
Yeah, you got sewing thread.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it was fun. It was something different.
Yeah.
And I got 4 ounces out of my stash, so now I have 3 pounds and 12 ounces to go. For a goal that I set for myself. That's not all my stash.
We went through Leslie's stash after we recorded. Well, when we couldn't record, when the computer was broken, and picked out like 4 pounds for her to spin.
Yeah.
So that's fun.
This summer.
Well, let's say till before the end of the year.
That's a lot of time. I can deal with that.
Yeah. It's a lot. 4 pounds is a lot, dude.
This is a person who wants to spend 2 pounds a month.
Well, yeah, but I spin a lot more than you. As evidenced by all the spinning I have. Yeah, you guys will see it next week. I am listening to 2 things. I'm listening to Small Spaces by Catherine Arden. It's a middle grade horror book. And then I've read Soulless by Gail Carriger numerous times, but I'm listening to the audiobook version as I knit away on sweaters. Mm-hmm. I also re-upped my Acorn subscription. Acorn is kind of like a British streaming service. They have like Midsummer, and they have The Queens of Mystery, which is what I just watched that whole series. They have Agatha Raisin. So if you like cozy mysteries with a bit of comedy, Queens of Mystery was really good. And I like Agatha Raisin as well. And I'm rewatching Broken Wood because the last season of that came up, which is what caused me to re-up. It's like $5 a month. So not a huge purchase, but it's going to keep me company as I knit a little and spin a little bit this summer until SSK. So yeah. So not super exciting things that I've been listening to or reading, but what have you been reading or listening to?
I finished Dead Moon, which was by Peter Clines. It's the same author who wrote 14 and The Fold. It's in that same universe. although it is set in the future. And it was a little weird, but it was good. I didn't feel like it was quite long enough, but I'm just greedy about that author. I like what he writes, and I wish that he could put out more, but I'm sure it wouldn't be as good quality if he was on a schedule. What else? I've been listening to a podcast called White Lies about civil rights.
That's the NPR based one,
yes.
right?
There's one more episode. It's not out yet. It's very good, but very hard to hear. It still needs to be heard regardless. I'm also reading the book that I talked about a minute ago, Dead Moon. That's science fiction. The book that I'm reading is Natural Mage, which is the 5th in a 6-book series, and it is sort of paranormal with a romantic element, but that's a very small part of the book.
Male-female romance.
Male-female romance, yeah. It's like I said, it's a very small part of the book, but it's good. I just haven't been reading a ton lately. I've been Michael and I watched the Chernobyl series on HBO, which was really good.
Graphic at points, though, right?
Not really.
Okay.
They focused more on the story, like, you know, how HBO does really great stories about people, so they focused on the people and how it affected them more than anything. There were spots where you saw burns, but that's probably about as graphic, really, as I remember it getting. What else? Handmaid's Tale, I started rewatching that. Veronica Mars movie is going to be on Hulu.
Yeah, so they're re-releasing all the episodes prior to that,
Mm-hmm.
so I might rewatch those.
Yeah, Veronica Mars
It's
is
been a long time.
sort
since
of
that
a
was available.
high school whodunit with Kristen Bell.
When she was real young.
Yeah, and it's great. And then they just released a movie that's based,
And then
10
this
years
is like
later
a
or
follow-up to that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah. It's kind of Nancy Drew-ish.
Yeah.
Like more modern.
But snark, too. That's it. That's all I've been reading and listening to.
Okay.
Let's see.
We have SSK coming up. So that will be the 3rd week in July.
I think it's the 19th or 18th that it starts. It's the Wednesday, whatever that is.
So we will see some people there, and super excited. Market will be open Saturday, like always, in the afternoon for people who are in the area and want to come shop.
The area is Nashville, Tennessee.
Stash Dash is going on. So Stash Dash is going strong too. I'm like 100 posts behind on the chatter thread. I tried to catch up, but failed completely.
I make no attempt to stay current on that.
So I'm going to go through and gift some people some random prizes, some random patterns from your wish list. So make sure you have a wish list going on. And then we have a Patreon fail along on the 23rd and a VKN on the 30th. And both will be at 3 p.m. Central Time. Thank you so much to all our Patreons who support us. We really, really appreciate it. It's allowed us to upgrade our equipment a little bit this past week and actually record at Leslie's versus my house. So that's good.
So you can actually hear us.
Yes.
Because apparently the microphone on Laura's laptop isn't as great as this external microphone that we have here.
Yeah.
Who would have thought, right?
So, and the lighting probably was not as good as anyway either. But thank you for sticking with us through that.
Let's see. What else is happening this week? That's all that I can think of.
We're about to get some severe weather, and my dog's probably freaking out at home. So, everyone in this area, please stay safe.
It'll be over by the time you see this.
Definitely.
But, anyway, you guys have a lovely weekend, and we will see you next week.
Some of you Sunday, and the rest of you next week. Bye, y'all.
Bye, y'all.